What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Chris here from the Tiger's Den, and today I'm reviewing Luigi's Mansion 3. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm not actually the biggest platformer fan. I don't really care for platformers in general. I'm not the hugest Mario fan, though 64, Odyssey, Sunshine 3, I think. I've played all the way through and did enjoy them to varying degrees. But one that's always been near and dear to my heart is Mario's thinner, more likable brother, Luigi. Luigi's Mansion 1 was kind of just a groundbreaking game for me. I loved it. I love puzzle games, especially when they're tied to a character or license that I enjoy. Luigi's Mansion 1, 2, but to a lesser degree, and now 3. Whew! This is the game for me. Now, I know this game's going to get skipped over come awards season, but this is a sleeper hit for me. I want to point out a couple of things about Luigi's Mansion 3 that are cons before I get into all the good stuff. So, one, while Luigi has a pretty decent tool set this game, without giving any spoilers, I wish I had had more sooner, if that makes sense. And I do wish I spent this whole game collecting money, and really, like, the thing to spend it on is finding out where the collectibles are, which is kind of yawn-inducing, and dog bones to bring you back to life, finding ghosts, buying a thing that finds ghosts that give you money. And then, of course, just really those three things. Money, ghosts, collectibles, dog bones to res yourself. Okay, so those are my negatives. This is going to be something I'm like lukewarm on, and that's actually the controls for the game. So the controls for the game are really good in that there's a good snap when there's something you need to be focusing on, and the physics of the game are good. But the way that you use the joysticks, the way that Luigi turns, and the way he... Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of that. I definitely think that could have been done better. It's almost like everything is inverted and not in a way that's pleasurable. It's like a groggy inversion. I'm not that big of a fan of it. So now I want to get to all the stuff that I think is glowingly awesome about this game, and that like this is a slam dunk for me. Okay, so for one, it's a story. This is literally nothing like complicated at all. This is literally just a simple Luigi story of everyone's going to the hotel, everyone's getting kidnapped except for Luigi. He's given his Ghostbuster outfit, and he's sent to work. So you're gonna spend the game having to literally go recover your friends. And there's nothing like overcomplicated about it. It's very simplistic, but it's still enjoyable. It's got all the oohs and ahs and oh, hello that Luigi's gonna give you, because there's not any actual like voice dialogue, just like Mario Odyssey. It's all via text or goofy noises, and honestly, it just fits this game. I think this game is actually like I said this to Ben. This is the best Ghostbusters game that's ever been made. I'll just say that. It's the best Ghostbusters game that's ever been made. It's with Luigi, and it's just good. Another thing that I really like is that all the floors in the hotel after the first, like, 2 or 3 really start to feel different. There's a basement floor beyond the one you first see that's really interesting. It's like a two-parter almost. There is a pyramid-based level, like an Egypt-based level, where you're manipulating sand in a really interesting way. There is level 11 is like a... Well, I won't spoil what level 11 is, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, just every floor kind of has its own theme and its own feel, except for a couple that kind of feel a little more generic. But even them being like generic hotel floors, it still has them like, this is just a floor with 80 rooms, or this is a floor that has our ballroom and our kitchen and our like banquet areas and stuff. This is the one that has our auditorium and whatnot. And so Even the floors that are samey are still pretty different, and I love it. The level design here is smart, it's crisp, and that brings me to the graphics, which I think in Luigi's Mansion 3, guys, are top-notch for the Nintendo Switch. This is like if they had told you earlier in the year, you know, Bloomberg was like, whoa, there's a Switch Pro coming. This is what the Switch Pro looks like. I mean, it is really hard to tell going back and forth between cutscenes and gameplay which is which, because the cutscenes are really like zoomed in real in-game like footage. It's really good, the way that they transition back and forth pretty seamlessly. And the lighting effects, the physics effects, all of that plays into this awesome graphics engine here, and I love it. More of this, please, Nintendo. And yeah, fighting the ghosts, I'm just gonna say it, I love how easy it is. This is not a game that's like, yeah, you're gonna have to solve a million puzzles, and then on top of that, you're gonna have to do these like over-complicated fights with the ghosts. No, and what I've really enjoyed about this game is having Luigi and Gooigi. I'm able to control Luigi, and I'm able to let my 4-year-old actually play Gooigi, and we can tag team this thing. It is very good for that, because if Gooigi dies, he just comes back to Luigi, and his health restores over time. So my son's able to like make mistakes or walk into water, and then Gooigi disappears, and then come right back and play. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. I love the drop-in, drop-out co-op aspect of the story mode. I think that's a brilliant idea. And that brings me to the puzzles, which, if you've watched any of my live streams, sometimes I am overthinking these puzzles, but sometimes they are actually like thinkers. And that's the thing that this game really does. It throws you for a loop, because it'll give you a floor where everything's like really intense, like, God, this is, what do I need to do here? But then you'll get to the next floor, and it's like the most obvious answer, but you're not thinking that, because the last floor was not the obvious answer. So I really love the loops that it throws you with the level design and the puzzle design. I think it's great. And that's gonna get me to my like final section. You can see I'm like gushing over this game. So Game of the Year is a thing that obviously is not going to Luigi's Mansion. And if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure that I like love Luigi's Mansion more than, say, like Ultimate Alliance 3 or Fire Emblem. Like, to me, this has been a great year for games. For me, personally. I know a lot of people have been kind of sleeping on the year because, you know, a couple of their titles got delayed. I'm equally delayed that, like, Animal Crossing was delayed, or The Last of Us 2. I'm absolutely heartbroken that those are delayed. However, let's not forget about the great titles that we do have this year. So, Luigi's Mansion is one of them. The reason I say Game of the Year sleeper hit for me is because it's not as niche as, like, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and it's not as, you know, popcorn, pretzels, beer, get your buddies over on the couch, you know, and goof off like Ultimate Alliance. This has some real creative level design. This has some polish to it too. I want to talk about Nintendo's polish on this game, because this game to me had no dropout, no lag, no clipping, no nothing. This game was the most, like, beautiful looking, solidly performing Switch game that I personally have played, and I have played, like, quite a few of the Switch titles. So what does that boil down to for me? Well, if I was going to rate this game out of 10, this is like an easy 9. And I don't give out 9s like willy-nilly, but the reason I give Luigi's Mansion 3, like, in my head, a 9 is because this game surpasses what I was expecting for a Luigi's Mansion game. It's got quite a few floors. Each floor, if you take your time, is going to be about an hour. So it's got a good amount of gameplay in it. There's also the park and the scare scraper, which means that even after you finish the campaign, if you want to goof around Mario Party style, Ultimate Alliance style, Smash Bros style, like if you want to goof around with your friends, cooperatively or even competitively, I actually really like the competitive room-to-room fighting ghosts thing. This has got some content for you, and that's really cool too. Like I said, being able to play that with my son has been really cool, but you can also play it online if you're signed up for Nintendo Online, which, I mean, you probably are. So overall, Luigi's Mansion 3 for me is an easy buy. Now, if everything I'm saying to you is like super appealing and you're like, Chris, this sounds awesome, but a $60 price tag for essentially like... Because I don't think this game is as big as Mario Odyssey, though I did enjoy it way more than Mario Odyssey. You know, wait for it to drop. But I don't think it'll drop, and I personally believe this is well worth the $60, the same way that Mario Odyssey was when it came out. So yeah, if you're at all interested in games like this, puzzle games, if you just love Mario and Luigi, this is kind of like a puzzle platformer, and I think it works really well. Like I said, if you're someone who's a fan of drop-in, drop-out co-op, if you're someone that's a fan of just playing competitive, like ghost-busting, goofing around as Luigi's, this game hits that mark perfectly. And like I said, $60 is pretty much the Switch standard pricing, and I believe it's worth it. So that is my thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3, how much I've enjoyed it, how much I've enjoyed talking about it with you guys. So thank you so much. I've been Chris. This has been the Tiger's Den. You guys have been great. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, help us grow the channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again soon.